Okay, Shana Tova, Shana Tova. Welcome back to our second day number 2 of Rosh Hashana. Welcome to those in person and everyone joining us online as well. We'll be beginning our service on page 5 in the Machzor. So if you would please rise as Rabbi Smolkin will lead us in the Baruch.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed. We may be seated. Baruch Adonai. Umavir yomu mevi laila mavdil ben yomu vain laila Adonai tzod shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yemlach aleinu le'olam vahed Baruch atah Adonai hamariv aravim. On page 6 we read in English on the top left, "You have loved your people, the house of Israel, with infinite love. You taught us Torah and mitzvot, statutes and laws. Therefore, Adonai our God, as we lie down or rise up, we shall think of your laws and speak of them, rejoicing in your words of Torah and your mitzvot forever and ever. For they are our life and the fullness of our days, and on them we will meditate day and night. May you never withdraw your love from us. Baruch atah Adonai, who loves the people Israel. Ve'avatecha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai olam Yisrael. The Shema, middle of page 6. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bechol levavecha Vechol nafshecha Vechol me'otecha Ve'hayu harvarim ha'ele Asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha V'shinatam nevanecha V'dibarta bam V'shivdecha b'beitecha Uvlechtecha b'derech Uv'shochbecha v'kovmecha Ukshatam laot hayaldecha V'hayu latotafot b'neinecha Achtavtam al mezuzot beitecha Uv'hisharecha. Page 7. Page 8. And this section talks about our redemption from Egypt, our redemption from bondage and things holding us back. And hopefully we can move past all those things that are holding us back in this new year. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל לכדו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני מי כמוך נדר בקודש נור התהילות אוסף אלה מלכותך ראו בניך בו כי הים לפני משה זה ליאנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כי בדלה את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני God Yisrael. We can read on page 9 on the left side, responsively in the English. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully and to awaken again to life, our sovereign.
Spread over us your canopy of peace, restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name.
Shield us, remove from us enemies and pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow, and remove the evil forces that surround us.
Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us, and you are the sovereign, merciful, and compassionate.
Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever.
May you spread over us your canopy of peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, and over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, apures sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Amen.
Page 10, we rise. Tiku b'chodesh shofar, b'kesel yom chageinu, ki chok leYisrael hu mishpat leElohei Yaakov. Yitkadav Shemei Rabbah, V'yamad Yivrachoteh, V'yamlich Ma'achoteh, B'chayechon u'b'yomechon, u'v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, B'hagala, u'mizman kariv, V'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Bevarach Le'alam Amen Amaya Yitbarach V'ishtabach V'yitbar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yithaleh V'yithalosh Mei Kodesh Habrechu Le'ehela Mikol Berchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Tamiran Me'alma V'imru Amen. We daven quietly, beginning on page 11 and continuing through page 17. Right now, page 11, we daven quietly. we may be seated. If you're still davening, you're welcome to continue. We turn now to page 16 at the bottom with B'Sefer Chaim. B'Sefer Chaim bracha v'shalom u'fanas tova nizacher v'nikatem lefanecha אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל לחיים טובים ולשלום. We continue now as we turn to page 19 for Kaddish Shalem. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ביום תברח חירותי ועמך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויברו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם עלמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודש הבריחו לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבץ לטון ובטון לכל ישראל קדם אבוהן דבשמיא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עשה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. Yasher Koach to Rabbi Smolkin for davening our Marav service. And just a moment, I will be entering into our second day of Rosh Hashana. And I want to speak today just for a few moments about what this second day means. You may wonder, right, this is the new year. This is the birthday of the new year. Why do we have this second day of Rosh Hashana? Right? A birthday is one day. We're born for one day. But why do we have the second day? I think the second day of Rosh Hashanah, I'm going to share a story about this in just a second. But it reminds us of the path that we are on. It reminds us of the path we are on in our lives, in which there are no shortcuts, in which we need to take the time and the energy to do what we need to do in life. We know that this work that we do, this path that we embark on, the path of teshuvah, of turning and returning to our best selves, this is challenging stuff. This is stuff that takes a long time. It is a work, it is a job that we might have to do our whole lives. But in that fact, perhaps, is something beautiful. That we have throughout our whole lives always an opportunity to learn, to grow, to develop, and to change. To possess, in the words of Zen Buddhists, beginner's mind. To appreciate our practice and to discover meaning in it. To be always like children who are discovering and learning new things. When we are never too old to learn something new, life becomes much, much more interesting. And as one of the most experienced teachers in our community once told me, if you're not learning, you're not living. It is in that spirit of lifelong learning that I'd like to share a story with us this evening. This story encourages us to change our perspective from the perspective we often have in life, which is to rush to our destination. It encourages us to change our perspective, to enjoy and even savor the beauty and the long road that our life may take, and the opportunities that even the oldest and wisest among us have to continue learning. And the story is as follows. Old Rabbi Yehoshua was once on a journey to a certain city. He was very hot and he was very tired. Finally, he approached a crossroads. He hoped that the city would be near. There was a young boy sitting at the crossroads. He asked the young boy, "Tell me, which is the way to town?" The boy answered, "This way is short but long, while that way is long but short." What did Rabbi Yehoshua do? Tired and impatient, of course, he took the short way to town, only to discover to his consternation that the entrance to the city was blocked by orchards and gardens. Frustrated, he returned to the crossroads and turned to the boy. "Didn't you tell me that this was the short path?" Well, the boy responded, "And didn't I tell you that it was also long?" Remarkably, at this point, Rabbi Yehoshua changes his perspective. No longer frustrated at the boy, he changes his tune and kisses him on the forehead. He exclaims, "Happy are you, Israel, for you are all exceedingly wise, from your oldest to your very young." I love the character of Rabbi Yehoshua here. Instead of becoming defensive and blaming the boy for leading him astray, Rabbi Yehoshua kisses him out of delight for the wisdom that he has demonstrated way beyond his years. Rabbi Yehoshua even goes so far to share this story with others and to have it recorded for posterity in the Talmud, where this story is just one among other stories where Rabbi Yehoshua is bested by an unlikely figure. What wisdom and humility we find in Rabbi Yehoshua, not only to admit that he took the wrong path, but also to acknowledge the lesson that the young boy has taught him, that instead of taking shortcuts in life, it is often better to take the long road that is ultimately short to reach our destination. And finally, notice how Rabbi Yehoshua has totally forgotten about the rush that he was on in his response. Instead of hurrying to begin the now longer path, he takes the time to first appreciate the boy's wisdom and to celebrate Israel for the wisdom of her youth. What a beautiful way to live out this lesson, that the long road may not only be shorter, but it may also be more enjoyable, since you may appreciate what you see along the way and maybe learn a thing or two along the way as well. And so too in our lives. I know for myself, and I wonder if you as well feel the same way, that when we allow ourselves to take the long road, to take the time and the space that is necessary to accomplish our goals, we not only have a greater chance of accomplishing those goals, we may also enjoy the process and learn a thing or two along the way. Rabbi Susan Grossman tells the story of a working mother she knows. She writes that the mother, and I begin her words here, found that her kids were most difficult precisely on those mornings when she felt the greatest pressure to get out on time. Realizing the pattern, she decided to take the long but short route, taking a few extra minutes to be emotionally present with her children, to say goodbye for the day. She found that she actually got to work sooner, and not surprisingly, in a better mood. End quote. Much like this mother, God, who is our parent, encourages us to take the long road that is short to the promised land. When the Jewish people left Egypt, God steers them away from the short route to Canaan because it would mean war with the Philistine nation. And God instead takes them on the longer road the much longer road through the desert. Commentators suggest that this shorter path to war would have led the people to become too afraid and to go back to Egypt. So in fact, God took them on the longer path that was short to gain the courage and the skills that they needed to enter into the land. It took 40 years, in fact, for the Jewish people to enter that land, but they needed that long road to grow and mature into the people that they were meant to be. It may take quite a long time for us as well to grow and mature into the people we are meant to be. But we may feel appropriately like we're always children in that sense, and it may take our whole lives. But as we turn and return to this project year after year, we see how much we grow, and we can take pride in what we have accomplished. We can see that we have created ourselves anew in response to different circumstances. It may be a long road, but God willing, it's one that we can enjoy and one in which we can learn. I think that this year, we know what it means to be on a long road more than any other. It has been and continues to be a much longer road than we would want, to gather together as a community as we normally would, to see each other's faces, to embrace each other as we would on the holidays. But at the same time, I wonder that being on this long road, I wonder if it has in some ways shortened our path to certain realizations. Like on the high holidays, this time has prompted us, this last year and a half, has really prompted us to consider what and who are most important in our lives. What is our life truly about? What are our priorities, and are we spending our time in line with them? What will the legacy be that we will leave? During this time, I've spoken to families and friends who've shared that many have spent more time with their families. Right? We've spent more time with those that are closest to us. Some people chose to return to school or to take a new job to make the transition that they had always wanted to make that was better for their bodies and their souls. Some people formed new relationships or strengthened old friendships. Many people took time as well to consider their role in making our country more just and to learn about the experiences of people who are different. We are learning to better align our actions with our values for society as a whole and for our personal lives as well. A close family friend shared with me this anecdote this summer. She had asked her friend at a Shabbat dinner, which was one of the first she had been able to have in quite a long time. She asked her friend, "How long will it take before we take it all for granted again? Before we just think about it like nothing when we get to see people?" And her friend responded, "Maybe, just maybe, we never will." Perhaps this is the long road that is short to a society that is more just, more humane, and more in touch with what matters most. As Rabbi Yehoshua learned, the long road that is short may be, in fact, the best way to get to our destination. The long road of creating and recreating ourselves and our society, it isn't always easy, and it doesn't always take the path that we might expect. But in that struggle and in that exertion, it lies the seed to a new future, to resilience and to renewal. Each and every year, we continue this lifelong journey, this long road to grow and renew ourselves and the world around us. May the long road that we have experienced this last year and a half inspire us, right? Teach us, continue to teach us with the strength to continue learning, to continue growing, and to continue journeying to where God will lead us next. Shana Tova u'Metuka, may you have a sweet, happy, and healthy new year. Shana Tova. Just a moment. Think Kiddush? Or?
Would you like to? Mitch, you want to make Kiddush?
In just a moment, we'll have Kiddush led by
Okay.
think Rabbi Smolkin on page 24, if we can rise for Kiddush. Again, page 24.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol haolam v'ramanu mikol lashon v'kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'atiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'ahava et yom hazikaron hazeh yom teruah mikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzaim. כי בנו וחטאותינו מקדשנו מכל העמים ולברך האמת וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך כל הארץ מקדש ישראל. מלך כל הארץ מקדש ישראל. מלך כל הארץ מקדש ישראל. We continue at the bottom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'kiyamanu v'hegianu lazman hazeh.
We will remain standing for Aleinu on page 25 as the ark is opened. Thank you, Joseph.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol latet gdula le'atzeh breshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot velo hasamanu k'mishvichot adama shelo sam chalkenu kahem וגור עלינו כחמונם אנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לבני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים עמה ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומיים הוא אלוהינו Einod emet malkeinu efes alato kakatu betorato yadata yom v'hashivota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha-Elohim v'shamayim ima v'aretz mitachat Einod. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Once the ark is closed, we may be seated. We continue now. Before we recite Mourner's Kaddish, we'll remember those who have yard sites on this Tuesday and this Wednesday evening. Mamie Gutman, Josephine Katz, and Rose Rich-Schaefer have yard site on this Tuesday. For tomorrow and beginning this evening, Lottie Cantor, Marjorie Helburn. Are there other names to add at this time? Mourner's Kaddish is found on page 26. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah v'yalmad yivrach eretei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yumechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'galau v'zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach li'alam amei amaya יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן מעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה אמין שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עשה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. We continue now on page 27 with the psalm for the season. לדוד אדוני אורי וישמי מרירה. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines from the top. We have Achat Sha'alti. Achat Sha'alti met Adonai ota havakesh. Achat Sha'alti met Adonai ota havakesh. Shivti beveit Adonai kol yamei chayai לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו לחזות בנועם בנועם אדוני ולבקר בהיכלו כי עצבנין פסוקים The last 2 lines. Luhu lehe emanti lirot betuvarai beheretz chaim. Luhu lehe emanti lirot betuvarai beheretz chaim. Kavel Adonai chazak v'yahametz libecha chazak v'yahametz libecha v'kavel Adonai. We conclude now in just a moment on page 28. Before we do again, services tomorrow morning at 8:30. Everyone is welcome here or online. And I just want to say again to thank you for everyone for joining us, whether in person or online. Thank you to Jim Green also for helping us with our sound this evening. It's really a joy to enter this new year with everyone, and we're excited to continue the celebration tomorrow for our second day of Rosh Hashana. We conclude now page 28 with Yigdal. Yigdal Elohim chai v'yishtabach nimtza v'yehenet el metziuto echad ben yachid kayichudo ne'lam v'gam en sof le'achduto en lo dmut haguf ve'eno guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon lechol davar asher nivra rishon ve'en Reshit leReshito Hino Hadon Olam V'chol Notzar Yorei Gedulato U'Malchuto Shefan Nevuato Netano Elan Segulato V'Tifato Lo Kam B'Yisrael Kemo Shehod Navihu Mahabit Et Munato Torat Met Natan Leah Mohel al yad nevi'o neman beto lo yachalif ha'el velo yamir dato le'oholamim lezulato tofeh v'yodea sitar re'enu mabit lesof davar bekadmato gomel ish chesed kemi'ifalo noten l'rasha ra kerishato yishlach Ketz Yamin Meshiachenu Liftot Mechakeketz Yeshuato Mektim Yechayel Berov Chasto Baruch Adei Ad Shem Tihilato Mektim Yechayel Berov Chasto Baruch Adei Ad Shem Tihilato Good Yantiv, everyone. Shana Tova, and thank you to Live Control also for helping to connect with everyone online. Good Yantiv, everyone.